backyard. He was wearing a red bathrobe over his pajamas, and he looked pretty excited. He ran up to the nest and looked in. His eyes opened up wide, and he knelt down on the ground and stared and stared and stared. After a long while, he said softly, "That's it. By George, that's just what it is." Then he stared for another long time, and finally he shook his head and said, "It can't be true. But there it is." He got up off his knees and looked around us. His eyes were just sparkling. He was so excited. He put his hand on my shoulder, and I could feel he was quivering. "And amazing things happened," he said in kind of a whisper. "I don't know how to account for it. It must be some sort of freak biological mix up that might happen once in 1,000 years." "But what is it?" I asked. Dr. Zeiner turned and pointed a trembling finger at the nest. "Believe it or not, you people have hatched out a dinosaur." We just looked at him. "Sounds incredible, I know," he said. "And I can't explain it, but there it is. I've seen too many Triceratops skulls to be mistaken about this one." But, but, how could it be a dinosaur?" Pop asked. "Goodness gracious," Mom spluttered. "And right here in our backyard. It doesn't seem hardly right. And on a Sunday, too." Cynthia was pretty interested by now and kept peeking into the nest and making faces, the way she did when Pop brought a bowl of frog's legs into the kitchen one time. I guess girls just naturally don't like crawly things too much. To tell the truth, I don't either sometimes. But this thing that had just hatched out looked kind of cute to me. Maybe that was because I had taken care of the eggs for so long. I felt as if the little dinosaur was almost one of the family. We stood around for a long while, looking at the strange new thing on the nest, trying to let the idea soak in that we had a dinosaur. After Dr. Zeimer calmed down a little bit, he and Pop tightened up the chicken wire and made sure the little animal wasn't going to crawl out. Dr. Zeimer watched the poor old hen for a time, and then he wondered if perhaps she ought not to be taken out before she went out of her mind. Pop figured that it might be a good idea, and he picked her up and put her outside her pen. She acted a little dazed at first, but pretty soon she followed the other hens and began scratching for worms like the rest of them. I've never seen such a surprised hen in my life.